Hello and welcome to the Banner Saga 2. We plowed through the first one in about 12 hours. Very enjoyable game. A lot to recap, but it looks like they have a watch recap from the first one. So let's just go ahead and do that, so we can see what transpired in the first game.
When the sun stopped in the sky, life continued as normal. Then the stone-armored dredge reappeared, ancient foes from the far northern reaches, and the world was thrown into chaos. Giant Varl defenders were slaughtered, their strongholds destroyed. Now Hakon is the Varl king and protects who is left of his race. Rook, a humble hunter and father of Alet, found himself leading frightened clansmen towards safety. His caravan crossed paths with Juno and Eyvind, two of the mysterious spellweavers known as Menders, who know something about the massive, mountain-breaking serpent on the loose. In Borsgard, a town under the protection of the mercenary leader Bolverk, both Varl and human stood against a dredge general, the immortal Sunder, known as Bellower. Juno devised a way to stop Bellower, but it cost the life of one held dear. The saga continues.
It sure does. All right, let's get to the new game. Unfortunately, Alet died, which was pretty sad. New game. We want to import a save game. Right here. The saga continues.
Tíminn líður áfram, eins og straumþung á sem fleytir okkur áfram. Time continues washing over us, moment after moment, like waves on a coast. Some more fierce, more violent than others. So few of my kind, the giant war, remain alive. Even so, I find myself wondering if humans, while able to bear children, suffer more for the loss of loved ones.
Oh, I love this voice actor.
Several weeks have passed since we slew the Sunder known as Bellower, but the chaos of the world did not wither as we hoped. The world is breaking. We sail aboard hastily crafted ships for the safety of Arberain, the human capital. But the river curses us with a clear view of the dredge, assaulting another hopeless village.
Good old Brooke is back. Damn it, Rook, quit running ahead. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, nice little tutorial. Oh boy, Rook. Rook. Oh boy, Rook. Oh boy, Rook, what are you doing? What are you doing, my lad? What are you doing? A final blow directed at your head is deflected, and giant horns slam into the dredge surrounding you. Ivor pulls you to your feet and away from combat as other fighters from your caravan rush in to finish off the enemy. Ivor moves you past the crowd of worried villagers, ensuring you can stand on your own. I don't know what you were... He stops speaking as the village chieftain approaches. A Vara leader saving a human village from those things legends are made of, much less. No Vara leader, just Ivor. Those things were dredged like the stories you probably heard as a kid. And it was Rook here who ordered us to stop. Forgive me. Maybe it's this never-setting sun or dredge or the deaths of so many of my clansmen. I'm not myself. The man's eyes appraise you and he quickly nods. I'm Aleo, the Skald. Were you trying to drive the dredge all the way back north by yourself? I wouldn't stop there. Aleo looks into your eyes for a moment before recoiling. Something terrible must have happened to have such hatred for them. A topic for another time, Skald. Maybe. Of course, mind if I ask of news from Bjorskard? We heard rumour the Sundar Bellower was laying waste to the town. More than a rumour, but he's been dealt with. By your clan, your Sundar Slayers! The term makes Ivor wince and ends Aleo's excitement. But what about the deep shaking in the ground? Only yesterday we felt a rumble like none before. Ivor looks at you expectantly, then sighs. All these questions are being rude. Please, join us. Let us feast in your honor. No time for that. We should be going. Nonsense! You've just arrived and defended us. Don't insult us by leaving before we thank you properly. I meant all of us should be going. Your people too. Not to sound ungrateful, but this place, it's all we have. It's our home. More dredge are coming. Wanting to defend what's yours isn't stupid, you know that. I know this village lost fighters today, so they have less of a chance defending themselves tomorrow. Rook is right. I hope their defeat here today would keep the dredge away, but when voiced, the Skald looks around at the small huts of his village. Bjornsgard is the only other place I've seen in my life. This small village is all my family knows. Are things really as tragic as you're making them sound? Probably worse. Aleo looks back and forth between you and Ivor before nodding. Packing and tending to our dead will take some time, but I'll have everyone on the ships soon. Aleo heads off to the village to organize supplies. People thinking we're heroes now. The world is breaking in more ways than one. Ivor, one of the giants known as Varl, has fought Dredge in the northern winters, personally killed the Sunder Rays, and lost an arm to the Sunder Bellower. He has been by your side through everything, including the death of your daughter. Now you feel the weight of his full attention. What you pulled out there fighting the dredge alone, was that tied to Alette at all? I'm trying my best to hold it all together. Keep holding it all in and you'll lose it when these people need you most. Alette was my reason for living after Aldous died. I remember, but make this caravan your reason now. There's still plenty for you to do. He walks towards the village, leaving you alone with your thoughts. Gorgeous! This is Chapter 8. The traveling merchants are surprisingly well stocked, Ubin, the old Varl dub scrivener, says. Since Bjornsgard, our numbers have grown. People have scavenged for food and eaten it too. Regardless, we'll need plenty of supplies considering our destination. What kind of supplies? Stuff like food and meat for the trip. The merchants have got a few interesting items as well, but folks can't eat those in lean times. You'll have to choose wisely. Even your renown will only stretch so far. Where can I find the merchants? You can't miss them, he says. A group of tents they call a market? Yes? Thanks, Eben. Of course, he says. Oh, almost forgot. There's something ruffling the feathers of the ravens. The mercenaries who followed us from Bjornsgard. Chat with their leader, Bolvar, but be careful. He's not like other Varl. Okay, let's visit the market. Renown. Strab's Bond. Broken Links of Metal. 1 strength talent, ranks, 2 strength, knockback on strength attacks of 3. Ooh, that's a lot of renown. And these are expensive. They're very expensive. I'm just trying to decide if I should get anything here. Foulwind Crake. I don't know what that is. Anyway, okay. Let's speak to Oddleaf. Oddleaf, your former chieftain's widow, is demonstrating fletching an arrow to a few people as you approach. Give us a moment, will you? The group walks away as Oddleaf stands and wipes loose feathers from her tunic. I doubt you're here to explain your actions with the dredge. I miss Alette. I can only imagine. She watches you in silence, not pressing you to continue. Eventually she changes the subject. I wanted to discuss the clansmen. They're good at scavenging for food while we travel, but we could always use more fighters. But training them takes time. I'm not sure we have much of that to spare. Then you'll just have to find a balance that works. We're okay for now, but who knows how our needs will change. I see. Thanks. You turn to leave, but Oddleaf places a hand on your shoulder. We should talk, Rook. At some point. Talk about what? You. Not you the leader, but the man I knew from Saga. She gives you a faint smile and returns to her fletching. The Varl mercenary Bolverk and a rather large female fighter are talking to Juno, a member of the Spellweaving Menders Council. Bolverk looks annoyed, nothing unusual. There is no haggling on this. You already accepted the offer in Bjorsgard. Get this one to do it. Get me to do what? If Juno is surprised by your presence, it doesn't show. She continues to stare straight at the Varl. Rook is seen to the survival of this caravan, something I doubt you care to do. He won't be seen to anything much longer if he keeps fighting like he did earlier. You can't really respond to that. Navalka turns to you with a brief smile. I'm glad you're not easily provoked. Unfortunately, what we were discussing stays between us for now. Her look at Bolverk says she expects him to keep it private. Avon needs my help with healing the wounded, but we should leave soon. See Hakon at the dock when you're ready. Juno leaves without another word. Fane, Valka. One of these days Claw and Fang will get thirsty for Spellweaver blood. Claw and Fang? It's his axes. The large axe heads are polished, the blades sharp, and the cheeks scarred from plenty of use. But it's the grey handles that stand out. They're unlike anything you've seen before. How long are you going to let Juno tell you what to do? You avoid his goading. Only to Arberang. Then it's King Meinolf's job. Like he's got the answer to any of this. He'd royally piss himself if he ever saw a dredge. The pig-tailed fighter laughs. Have we met? I'm Folka, a shield maiden in charge of keeping the ravens alive. Bolver gives her a stern look, but she doesn't back down. I already know who you are, chieftain. I heard there's a problem I should know about. The Varl seems to grow taller and more wild as he takes a step towards you. You stopping to save every Fane idiot along the river will get us all killed. Makes more sense to only stop the ships when we need supplies. And get rid of half these useless people too. They're slowing us down. That's not going to happen. Humans, you're all the same. You think you have it all figured out in your short lives. You've got no faint clue what's going to happen, no more than any of us. Bolverk snorts and turns his attention to a large sealed cart behind him. His bare, cloaked back indicates the conversation is over. Okay. I got weak morale. But we could rest another day. Normal morale. Morale improved. Looks like it's time to leave. The wooden planks of the well-used dock creak as you walk across them. Hakon, a warrior recently acknowledged as king of the Varl, paces on the dock. Not sure I was made for this, he says as you approach. Commanding in battle is one thing, but deciding how many chickens we need to bring. I'm just as lost as you are at this. Is that so? Hakon says. It seems like you were born to lead these humans. Maybe Varl are more yox-headed than just our horns. His laugh rumbles through the dock. We're as ready as we're going to get. Let's sail. After lighting the funeral pyre, the last villagers find seats on your rickety longships built of scrap wood, scavenged in Bjorsgard. The ravens find space around a large cart on their black-sailed vessel. Oars slowly move all the boats into the river's current. Aleo looks ill. At least it's not the brackish sea, he whispers to himself as he steps around rowers and baggage to speak with you. I'm not sure we were all built for aquatic voyages, he says, and I hear Arberang is quite a distance away. My people could use a few hours rest on solid ground. The hopeful looks from others sway you, and you signal for the ships to make land. Would you mind telling me why the capital is our destination? Aleo asks. Arberang's walls have never been breached. Ah, of course. The growing walls should certainly keep a dredge army at bay, shouldn't they? You say nothing. Dredge, Aleo says, almost in awe. Man and Varl's storied foe from so ever long ago. But they're real, and here. How have they made it so far south? His glance at the Varl is met with both anger and shame. The longship rocks gently and the Skald grabs a rope to steady himself. If only we had the fabled horses to ride upon, we'd outpace the dredge and be on sound footing. His dramatized misery is almost as amusing as his thanks when he steps back onto land. Morale improved, which is good. Bjorsgard, an aging and senile mess of a city that can't remember whether it wants to sell you something or steal everything you've got. While Ormsdalr grew early into an important hub of trade, its twin city Bjorsgard became the place to buy things nobody else was willing to hawk. It's greatly supported by the potent items harvested in Reinevik and Tistel, and plagued by huge disparities between the extremely rich and the suffering poor. As Strom led some of the first men east, Ormsdalr was one of the most important places they settled, nestled in the crook where the Ormsa River splits. If Bjorsgard and Ormsdalr were twins, Ormsdalr would be the righteous brother trying to keep his evil twin from hurting anyone else. Reaching Arberang, the human capital, is the ultimate goal of the caravan. It is hoped that the walls of the ancient city will provide safety against the deepening catastrophe. Arberang, from humble beginnings to the eventual seat of power for the king, Arberang is the most populated and contested city throughout the human lands. Its towering obsidian walls have been pulled from the depths by the weaving power of the Menders. As each new generation of residents builds another ring of walls, the city continues to grow larger, more indulgent, and more dangerous. Great. Sounds good. Okay, let's move on though. Cool. It is good to know about this stuff for sure. Ivor. Can I promote Ivor? Yep, I can. Let's get him even more badass than before. Oh, we can promote him twice, but I don't have enough renown. I have 10 renown. So who do I want here? Well, mid Oddleaf, that's good. Oh, it's a wealth of talent. It's a wealth of talent here. There's so many. Oh, there's so many. It's hard. It's hard to decide. It's hard to decide. Yeah, go with 3 Varls and 3 humans, I would think. I'm not interested in Avon, really. He was kind of a letdown in the first game. Okay, I think that's a wrap for episode 1. And we'll be back very shortly in episode 2.